everyone, it's Holly and I'm here to talk about living a positive life. So this is something I've been actively working on in my life for several years now, probably around the time I came out of college. I grew up being a very negative person, very complainy. I think a lot of people are. I think it's really easy to be negative and it's really easy to complain. This also, disclaimer, does not mean I never complain, that I never am negative, that I'm never upset, anything like that. But I try. Also, if you hear anything, it's my cat doing cat things. So the huge reason I made this decision is because I personally believe that it's incredibly unhealthy to have negativity in your life, and especially when you internalize that, and I just think it's really bad for you. So I find when I make a focus of positivity and being happier and spreading happiness, I'm happier, I'm healthier, and I do think it helps with my anxiety. So what do I do? Like, if you're looking to try and make your life a little more positive, what are some suggestions? So I think a huge thing you have to do is know what upsets you and what can send you down like this spiraling path of doom. And I don't know if I spiral easier because of my anxiety, but it definitely is a thing. Oh, I did not write this down, but having the Murphy cat here is definitely an effort I've done. I would say this has also somewhat to do with trying to deal with like depression and stuff. Not to put pressure on the poor little kitty, but having an animal to come home to every day is really reassuring, and he's pretty good. I mean, he's kind of a brat, but like he's super cuddly, which I find I need. So I'm very grateful for that. But anyway, so the things that I did and do and continue to work on is one is stop watching the news. So this one, it doesn't mean I'm not educated about what's going on in the world and that I don't like ever watch the news or ever read the news or anything, but I went from being a pretty avid, like, continuous watcher of the news, always have it on, always watching it, always seeking news out. When I was in college, I was subscribed to like the White House channel on YouTube, and they would post like the daily briefings, and I would watch those and everything, and it just wasn't good for me. So I still educate myself. My main sources of news are the Philip DeFranco show and News AF, which is a podcast, and that's really stupid news, but it's fun. And then I see stuff, I hear stuff. I've had, like, my previous job, we had a TV, and we had two TVs in our cafeteria, and one was almost always on like either CNN or Headline News, which is part of CNN. So I would see stuff. I mean, I see news. If I feel like there's a story I need to seek out, I'm going to seek it out. I am on Facebook. I follow a lot of my local stations, so that I'm educated about like my local news, which I feel is less sensationalized, that's the kind of stuff that really gets to me. So I still feel educated, but I don't feel bombarded and depressed. Make an effort to complain less. And going along with that, I think making an effort to be positive and complimentary, like take an interest in other people, smile, and, you know, say nice things to them. I think that's good, and putting goodness in the world just breeds more goodness. I unfollowed and unsubscribed people and channels through YouTube and social media that I felt contributed to a negative outlook on things. Like whether it was like drama or just people posting things that I didn't necessarily agree with. And I'm not saying I'm censoring myself and like putting myself in a little like safe bubble of only people who agree with me. It has to do with the type of content. So when it's just like dramatic to be dramatic, that kind of stuff is what I'm avoiding. I also make a habit of avoiding YouTube comments. this is nothing to do with comments on my channels, which I am awful at responding to, but it has nothing to do with it. But I avoid comments on other people's videos. I've been commenting a little bit more because I'm feeling drawn to, and I only comment positive things, of course. I wouldn't watch somebody if I felt negatively about them. Please see previous thing. But I tend to see a lot of negativity in comments, just like mean nastiness that just like it hurts me to see these people that I almost consider friends being treated this way, and there's nothing I can do about it. And like, I'm a fighter, so like I want to fight and I want to like have like get through to these people, but it's not gonna work, you know? So like, don't feed the trolls. And then I created a Pinterest board. It's called Faith in Humanity, and it's where I put like cute stuff, whether it's pictures or stories and stuff, and they're just really like cheerful and remind you that there is goodness in the world. It's really easy to get depressed, but I think the world is more good than it is bad. So I will say, in the last few months I felt myself going down a bad path, and that was a huge part of why I wanted to make this video. I was doing I felt like I was going into these habits and these things that I've been avoiding and have a negative impact on me, like my mental and physical health. And then a weird thing happened, and that's that I started seeing all of these things on Facebook and YouTube about Mr. Rogers. It kind of reminded me again of that goodness in the world, and how being such a positive person can affect so many people. And I don't know, it was like what I needed to hear and to be told. I really like Mr. Rogers. Like, I remember liking it as a kid, watching the show and liking it, but as an adult I like it even more. Like, I love listening to him talk, and I love just the ideas behind what he had. I feel like he was like almost like ahead of his time, and he's just a wonderful man. He really was. And I think we're all blessed to have had him. And I don't idolize people, but I feel like if I did, he'd be pretty close to being there. Things were like a reminder to recommit myself basically to this, making a choice of being positive and having that be a focus in my life again. So that's what I am doing. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. It is hard, but it is something I try to do. And so I'll leave you with some words from the wonderful Mr. Rogers before my battery dies. There is no person in the whole world like you. I like you just the way you are. So much for watching. Bye.